Hi everyone, my name is Lance Shoulders. Welcome to our next round of Bridge House Interactive, where we bring Bridge House's work, team members, and clients to the screen through video and voice. In this series, we're going to be speaking with several members of our leadership team. I'm happy to have Bridge House's Chief Operating Officer, Lisa Bongiovanni, here with us today. Welcome, Lisa.
Thanks for having me, Lance.
Let's get started. As COO for a company like Bridge House, what has been the most rewarding for you?
Lance, the best part of this role is spending time with our staff and getting to know all of our practice areas. Last summer, I had the opportunity to talk with everyone at Bridge House, and I learned a lot about our staff as individuals and found commonalities in what drives them to do such great work for our clients. I love to learn and be challenged. As the COO, I get to touch all aspects of Bridge House, and from learning on the business side to diving into practices newer to me. Recently, I've been working with the firm fund team and assisting private equity clients with ESG program development and support. While it wasn't in my wheelhouse before, the team got me up to speed quickly, and now I have a new understanding of the work we do in that space. What a great place where staff are teaching leadership in the company how to do our services. And of course, I never have 2 days that are the same, from reviewing compliance reports, writing a proposal for environmental due diligence, and sitting in on sustainability strategy client meetings. There's no getting bored at Bridge House.
Wow, appreciate the response, Lisa. It's fascinating with the variety of experiences you've talked about there, especially on a daily basis. Let's go to the other side of that coin. What's been the most challenging?
I would say the rapid growth we've experienced amidst and after the pandemic was challenging on most aspects of the business. We were growing in all dimensions: people, revenue, services, and the number and types of clients. It was a lot of fun and a lot of work for the whole team. We identified a need to be more structured in our processes while keeping the overall flexibility of the organization. In growing quickly, we needed to recruit at a tough pace. And in some cases, we were bringing inexperienced staff into practices that hadn't had the time to truly develop templates, protocols, and best practices. This put a burden on our service experts in ensuring quality and bringing conformity to our work product.
Gotcha, thanks. Appreciate that. Let's talk a little bit more about that growth. How have you managed that growth, especially on the people side, going from 5 to 50 plus in, 6 years?
Yes. Lance, this goes right back to my love of our team and the unique way our founders organize the business.
Okay.
Bridge House has a unique structure in that staff are not limited to one practice area or service group. They're able to get experience and even expertise in multiple practice areas. In some cases, they touch all practices enough to step in and help when 1 or 2 areas become overloaded.
Okay.
From this perspective, they're able to move around to support those in the most need, bring new staff into the fold in these different areas. We don't have to rely on one expert or manager focusing on new staff, but the whole team can support them and push them forward. To my example earlier, we also have a unique group of talent here at Bridge House. Our practice area leaders quickly stepped up to find support for service experts, and as the stress of a high revenue period eased, they changed focus to developing the templates and the skill sets of the staff to ensure we had the tools and a wide network of support for future pushes. Also, where we identified client needs such as carbon footprints, UNPRI reporting, and climate risk assessments, our staff were excited to raise their hands to develop new practice areas and services, and now they're the experts in their fields. This continues today as we look forward to new growth in the coming months and years.
That's fascinating. Thanks so much for all that detail, Lisa. So aside from being the COO, what else keeps you busy at Bridge House?
Just a few things.
Yeah.
On the technical side, I continue to be a service expert for our EHS compliance group, site liability investigation, and the carbon and climate practice areas. And I help in other practice areas just as needed. For compliance, I'm one of 2 professional engineers at the company.
Okay.
And try to support our staff not only with certifications, but my experience in the compliance space for over 25 years. I certainly haven't seen everything, but I've seen a lot.
Right.
Additionally, I continue to be involved with our environmental liability and site investigation work. We have a great practice area lead, but this area is a hard habit for me to break. I also work with clients on environmental due diligence and sustainability strategy projects. I believe it's important to stay involved at the project level as I continue to interact with our incredible staff on a daily basis and in their space where they are most of the days.
Right.
I also step in various roles on an interim basis as we're looking to fill internally or externally. This is one of the most interesting things I get to do. Sometimes I'm learning a whole new skill set in a collaborative space with our staff, our clients, and sometimes we'll bring in the external experts.
Wow, that's great stuff, Lisa. Like you said earlier, certainly a lot of variety across your day, and I love the involvement that you mentioned still at the project level. It reminds me of an old colleague that would always assign himself a work unit, even though he was a partner on the project. You got to know how the work is delivered, right?
Right.
Well, let's switch gears and discuss some of the trends you're seeing in the market, near term and long term.
Lance, this is an interesting question for me, as I've been in the COO role for only a year and have focused on identifying what we as a company need to be doing to make the work experience better for staff, as well as work on the structures we have in place. My prior role was leading our corporate and post-close service group. In that area, the most important trend is to show that all we do for portfolio companies is about creating value.
Got it.
Yes, we all know these companies have to comply with regulations, but how can our practices take the clients beyond that to create value for the business? As William Pleasant, our current corporate service group lead, says, we want to assist in developing companies that are sustainable in business, not just meeting regulations and customer requirements. We work to make the required aspects routine, and then the business can focus on value creation where we can help as well. In working with the firm Fund Group and currently leading our ESG reporting practice area, I'm seeing that private equity firms aren't focused on being the greenest. They see ESG or responsible investment as a tool to create value in their portfolio companies, and we're excited to partner with those companies. Another trend is greenhouse gas emissions reporting, which is becoming important without regulatory frameworks, although these are becoming as well. The SEC walked back some of their requirements in their final ruling, but along with the state of California are looking for more transparency on carbon footprints and climate risks. However, we see private equity signing on to the UNPRI and in some cases to EDCI, which drives reporting for portfolio companies' sponsors. Also, customers are looking for their suppliers to provide carbon emission data. These trends are not likely to backtrack, but to become more widespread.
Gotcha. Appreciate all that perspective on the trends, Lisa. How do you think Bridge House is prepared to address them?
With respect to value creation, it's embedded in all of our approaches, in our firm fund, due diligence, and corporate services groups. We aren't looking to be a cost center for our clients. We want to make their firm and portfolio more sustainable from a business perspective, in addition to meeting the needs of investors, customers, regulators, and other stakeholders. So I would say we're leading in this respect. We also have services specific to greenhouse gas reporting and climate risk assessments, which work with each company and firm to develop appropriate boundaries and scope of reporting to meet the needs and aspirations of the organization. We also have the expertise to evaluate options for reducing these emissions, which leads back to value creation.
I really appreciate all the insights, and thanks again for the time today. Fascinating role you have here at Bridge House as a COO. Be on the lookout for other installments of Bridge House Interactive at bridgehouseadvisors.com. Thanks, Lisa.
Thanks a lot, Lance.